Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, it's Jackie Cation, and you are listening to The Dork Forest. The website's JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com if you like a determiner. Let's do the credits. Patrick Brady's going to fix this audio and video. Vilmos works on JackieCation.com, and Mike Rickberg sang the song with his wife, Sarah. He composed it, and he will sing his version of the Mexican hat dance at the end of this show. Thank you so much for listening to The Dork Forest. Here's a scoop. I'm doing stand-up online. A lot of Zoom shows will eventually go back on the road. Sign up for my email list. It's easy to get off. It's harder to get on than it is to get off. And no harm, no foul. If ever bored, JackieCation.com, sign up for the email list. You'll find out about my weekly Zoom shows and stand up on the road eventually. You may donate to the show if you would like. I would like. Sure, I would. There's PayPal, Jackie at JackieCation.com, and there is a PayPal button on both DorkForest.com and JackieCation.com. And there's Venmo, if you like Venmo, Jackie-Cation, oddly enough. If you have listened to all of the shows, go to dorkforest.bandcamp.com, I think. The Dork Forest has a Bandcamp page. You can listen to a lot of ones that are free from pre-2009 when I started pre-recording. And then there's live episodes that cost me a couple of bucks, so I charge you a couple of bucks. There's also some stand-up. There's a story album that's very exciting there. And other than that, I have a lot of merch in my garage. Feel free to order if you know anybody who doesn't have any CDs or the DVD. And you can follow me everywhere at Jackie Cation. Let's get into the show. Hi, Jackie Cation. I'm in my garage. We're doing a Dork Forest. I got a new ranger, someone who's not been on the program before, stand-up comic Orlando Leyba. Am I doing that right?
You got it right.
I nailed it. Right. I know it's Hey Lando on all the Twitter, Instagram things.
Yes,
but
it is.
Hey Lando. And it just occurred to me, do you think Lando Calrissian's full name is Orlando?
I think so. I want to believe so.
Me too now.
I really want to, it's been my whole life. I was born when on the debut, on the premiere of the first Star Wars, May 25th, 1977.
Oh, really? That
Yeah,
is
so-
interesting.
Yes.
It's, I think
And I have all my hair. Oh, how about that?
Come on, you have all your hair. So, by the way, Orlando Leyba is a comic from Florida. Were you named after the city of Orlando, Florida?
No.
I pray to God not.
No. I was named after, my mom wanted me to be an attorney, and she genuinely, in her mind, thought that the name Orlando
Would
said,
help.
Yeah, it said either attorney or doctor. It was like.
And now you're a comic with a new special on HBO Max, so I'm already jealous. Well done. It's called Adorable. It's on HBO Max. And then there's an album that is also available on Spotify and Amazon and all the places, right?
Yes, Adorable is also, and if you stream Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, wherever you stream, you can, if you look up the name Adorable, my album will pop up. And if you go to HBO Max, it just recently got loaded. It's the first special I did for HBO. They recently loaded it to HBO Max. So it's like I'm double dipping the chip, and I'm enjoying it.
Exactly. Please do. Because why not? Let's get you out there. Hey Lando. It's at Hey Lando, HeyLando on Twitter and all the things. Now let us get into what you enjoy in life. And we're in a pandemic, so I'm kind of interested in this because you're watching HGTV, which means you have cable.
Yes. Do I have cable?
How did
I do. I do have.
Yeah, you must have.
I have internet.
Could you watch HGTV on the internet?
Yeah, they have an app.
Oh, of course they have an app. Is it $3.99 a month?
I don't really know because we share stuff. Me and my community, we share services. So, like, I
My,
have HBO Max,
sure,
and I allegedly share it with another couple,
sure.
the friends of my wife, and they allegedly have, let's say, something like Sling, and we share
What
that.
is
Yeah.
first of all, they don't mind if you share it. They've actually they said it's okay. Like I share Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things one of my nephews uses our Netflix, and when I want him to call his grandmother, I change the password.
Mm,
Because moments later, he's like, "Did you change the Netflix password?" I was like, "Yeah, call your grandmother." And here's the new
nice.
password. And but yeah, so I share my sister's Hulu. I've
Hmm.
got HBO with my brother. I have a
Hmm.
lot of siblings. So
Yes.
we could what is Sling?
Sling is
What's on Sling?
I don't Sling is like basically a whole cable network, but is an app, and you
Okay.
basically you pay for the channels that you want to see, and they basically log it all down, and you pay one fee a month. That's about as much as having HBO Max. But
Okay, so it's
you can't get like premium channels. You're not gonna get. You can put them on, but then the charge goes up.
okay. So you could put HBO on there, but
Yeah.
then you might as well just get HBO Max.
It's the equivalent of having basic cable on my Apple TV,
Okay.
but is way more affordable than basic cable.
That's which is where HGTV is. And then do you
Yes.
throw it to your TV with a Chromecast? Allow me to nerd out a little bit about the tech on this.
No, no, no. It's actually running through my Apple TV. So
Okay, and so
the
is
Apple
that
TV is HDMI into my TV.
okay? So it's got
Uh,
its own device, sort of like a
yes.
Roku or a because
Yes.
I've got a switcher and a Chromecast, but then
Mm-hmm.
we also have a PS4
Yes.
and a DVD player, Blu-ray, which has
Mm-hmm.
probably all the things. I don't have Apple TV, though they said when I bought my new phone that I could get a year free. But
Yes, but actually, I have like the Apple TV. What would you refer to it back in the day as the transmitter, the receiver,
the device,
the
it's like
device?
it's an
Where
actual
yeah, yeah,
hardwired into the
yeah. You could do it hardwire, or you can do it. It's great because me and you get to talk, and a lot of people don't even know what we're talking about. This you could do it
oh,
through Wi-Fi. You can connect
sure.
it through Wi-Fi, or for people like you and me that are old school mentality now in this era is helping us more. Meaning through this conversation, we're hooked up probably through the Ethernet. We Ethernet cabled our computers. Like my computer's running into my internet's coming in through an Ethernet cable. I'm not doing the Wi-Fi, just so we never lose contact. And I do the same thing with my Apple TV, where I have Ethernet into my Apple TV, HDMI into my flat
Oh,
screen.
you know what? I think I'm hardwired. Am I Ethernet cabled into our internet?
Hmm.
It would be foolish not to because I am Ethernet cabled into this because
Yes,
what we did I'm in a garage, Orlando,
it doesn't
and
look it.
I put another router out here so that
Hmm.
I could expand, have the Wi-Fi be better out here. But then I
Yes,
just got an Ethernet cable so that I could hardwire my laptop when I did these
yes.
shows out here.
I've been advising. I've become I'm not that technical, but I've been the one giving everybody that simple advice of like, man, I do these Zoom meetings and sometimes it falls out and everything. And also as a stand-up doing Zoom shows, I recognized that the reaction time was faster. So when I first started doing the Zoom shows, I would be on my Wi-Fi,
Yeah,
and this is like real nerd talk right now. And
this is
then
perfect. Welcome to
it
the Dork Forest.
I love it. And then I would say a joke, and then there's a lag. There's a lag getting to them, and there's a lag actually the laughs coming back. I hooked up my Ethernet. I went old school with it. Hooked up the Ethernet, and then the reactions were faster. Then it
Right. It
became
tightens up quite nicely
it
actually cuz
tightens up. Yeah.
with yeah, cuz I do a lot of Zoom shows as well and the would you want to do I do a show every Sunday where I'm interminably working on my next album. And so, but I have guesties. I have little guest sets every week. And if you ever want to do 10 minutes, you're welcome in the middle of the day. All right.
You got it. You already have my email.
I do.
So
I just got your email. And who doesn't want to see Orlando Leyba do some stand-up comedy, which is available on HBO Max or the album on all the things. But I want to know about HGTV.
I love the way you say all the things.
It's on all the things. It's Amazon. It's Spotify.
So much on that.
Pandora.
I love the way that you say. Also, at Hey Lando, Twitter, and all the things.
All the things. Instagram, Snapchat. I bet you are you on TikTok? Are you doing the TikTok?
No, I'm not. But all that I've done, Jackie, is I've parked my name. So I'll go into the new website, whatever they've come up with next, and and I park my handle at Hey Lando, but I never use it.
Right.
Because I just don't want anybody to use it. But like recently, which one did I get yesterday? Clubhouse. I got invited to, and I the same way I feel about Pepsi. When a waiter asks me, when I ask for Coke, and the waiter goes, "Is Pepsi okay?" I say, very calmly, I say, "No, it's never okay." That was the same. I naturally reacted to that request that way. Like, hey man, here's an invitation to Clubhouse. You know, people come and they're experts and they can talk about what they're expert. I was just like, no. But it's a great idea. No. I'm done. I'm done. I am done, Jackie.
But I will. Facebook, but I think
Twitter,
you're right.
Instagram.
I think you're right to park it, though, because what if it blows up and Twitter goes the way of, Friendster or LinkedIn or whatever, and then all of a sudden Clubhouse is the big thing that everybody gives a damn about, and you're parked.
I'm willing. That's why I do it. That's why I just don't, not really there because I really don't see myself. I want them all to fail. Anyway.
Oh, right. If they all went away and we just started calling people on the phone again, that'd be awesome. I was told that Twitter, by the way, was going to be this. A couple of friends of mine moved to different cities from my last day job. And I was told that Twitter was a way sort of was like group texting with a lot of different people. And I was like, okay. And then I get on and I'm like, yeah, but what are the strangers doing reading my text messages? Yes. And, granted, it was 10 years ago, so I figured it out since. But I don't like the lies.
I might say something. I say dumb stuff. I just say I just keep on repeating myself, which is the one that I say, I'm skating through life on good vibes. That's it. I'll put that, and then I'll put a picture of a dog that's cute. And that's it.
Oh, internet puppy. Sometimes it's just time for an internet puppy, I say.
Sometimes. I've completely hacked my algorithm and not hacked it, but after watching
figure it out?
No, after seeing Social Dilemma, you kind of like, if you paid attention to that documentary, whatever you click on and whatever you ignore, that you physically ignore, you click on the button and you say, ignore, don't want to see this post. Mm-hmm. You can actually set up your algorithm to just feed you, which is what's going on politically in the world now. Just feed you. So most of my Instagram are golden doodle updates.
Then that feels like you're doing the Lord's work on that sort of algorithm shenanigans.
There you go.
I don't approve of the internet. The internet wasn't created. It was created for dorks. The internet. It was not created for Nazis to meet each other.
Yeah.
So it's very disappointing to me that the horrible people also have a way to connect, and they can fuck right off. But other than that,
they didn't know how to do it before, but then they figured it out, and I was like, oh, and no one's gonna judge me. I'm just going to be here. Everybody thinks like me now. And little do they know it's an algorithm that's directly channeling everybody.
Did you ever see Minority Report, the Tom Cruise movie?
Yes.
And I never I've had a hard time trying to read Philip K. Dick books. I don't know if you've ever, because he wrote that and he wrote Blade Runner and he wrote The Paycheck with with Bad Batman. Ben
Yeah.
Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
But the movies are all exceptional. And Minority Report, that thing where it's like you're walking through a tube, like sort of like in Denver when you walk through the Denver airport.
Yes.
But the ads, as you go by, they can RFID the chip in your wallet, so they get your ID, and the ads all of a sudden are just to you. They're very
Yes.
specific.
Yes. I
And
believe some of
that's
those
next.
guys. I believe some of those guys. Man, I don't want to go down this lane, but there's a certain side of me that thinks that some of these movies that were written, these guys have lived other lives
Oh
in the
yeah,
sense, or they've time traveled through their spirit.
it feels
They have a
super
spirit.
spooky. It
Yes,
feels
feels like
spooky enough.
that's
Yeah,
way too much accurate. Like, the way
right.
everybody's freaking out with The Simpsons and how Donald J. Trump came down to make his announcement. But the
Yeah,
thing is, watching a show like The West Wing and watching Aaron Sorkin talk about The West Wing, they have so many consultants for The West Wing
right.
that some of the things that happen uh, is kind of like they're taking real educated uh, guesses and predictions on however. Because basically, like Eric Sorkin's The West Wing, when Matthew Santos became president,
Hmm.
it was basically a future view of the Obama presidency.
Right. It feels a lot of times, and I believe. Okay, I have my own spooky beliefs here, and one of them is that artists and writers aren't that good.
Mhm.
If you've channeled into something, you've actually there's part of me that believes in magic, and it
Mhm.
believes that you saw something that and it just clicked in the universe, and
Mhm.
you put it on paper, whether it's Tolkien or it's there's one of my favorite science fiction writers is a woman named Cage Baker, and it's about
Mhm.
immortality and time travel. But she, back in and I believe she wrote these books before. Do you remember
Mhm.
when?
Cage Baker.
Yeah,
I
Cage
like
with
that.
a
That's my
K.
jam.
Yeah, Kage, Cage Baker, and the Company series. But there was a when Spielberg re-edited E.T. to take the guns out of the hands of the FBI agents and put walkie-talkies in.
Mhm.
Cage Baker speculated that they would remove alcohol and chocolate and guns, and they would just take out everything that was even slightly addictive or offensive, like to retcon all of these old movies.
Yes.
And when the ET thing happened, I was like, Jesus, Cage Baker saw that coming. And she also refers to travel cups as adult sippy cups,
Yes.
and and she wrote. But if you look at I don't know if you've read N.K. Jemisin.
No.
She's Kamau Bell's cousin,
Yes.
and she won the Hugo 3 years in a row with her Broken Earth series, which is another science fiction, the Broken Earth trilogy, and it's intense. Like I read the first one, and then and here's the other thing I like about N.K. Jemisin is she wrote all three of them and then published the first one. So
Yes.
she didn't do like George R.R. Martin, never going to finish this thing, or Patrick Rothfuss, I'm never going to finish this trilogy. She finished the trilogy and
And
then
then put it
published,
up.
and they're amazing stories about environmentalism and people and
I
the
think
earth.
I'm with you. I'm writing with you, Jackie. I think these creators of see a moment in time and they listen to. I forgot who I was listening to. There's a writer that says that sometimes she basically described inspiration or creativity
Mm-hmm.
when I believe it was a TED talk that comes into. She's sitting in the room and it comes into the room, and sometimes the idea is there, and she verbally out loud says, "You need to sit down, relax for a second. I'm gonna get to you, to the idea or the vision that she's saying, and she physically tells it. And because of that, I've actually said that to jokes.
Oh, there you go.
I've said that, like I've said, okay, that's funny. That's really funny. Just give me a second till I can get it down. Hold
Yeah.
on, because sometimes these ideas just come and go. They just travel. They just traveled right through you, and you're like, oh, what was that idea again?
Right. And where did it come from? And I
Yeah,
think that it does come, whatever you want to say that it came from, if
yeah,
it's the zeitgeist or a universe or a god or a
yeah.
magic, I don't care.
My grandmother was a midwife, and I know we're supposed to get into HGTV, and I'll jump into it. But my grandmother was a midwife,
Yeah.
and she couldn't read or write. She's from the country, deep in the countryside of Dominican Republic. She signed her name with an X, and to have this woman, she died at the age of 90. Uh, about 8 years ago. To have
Okay.
this woman explain to me as a child that, like, basically, Orlando, you can connect to any energy as long as as long as you can see that energy and you can tune yourself to that energy. Like someone that's also
Right.
religious,
Yeah.
very Catholic, but
Right.
had this natural natural brain of a scientist
Right.
that
Just
can
the
explain.
intelligence of a scientist.
Yeah, the correct. That's the best way I can. Because I was like, oh, okay. And then fast forward years later, I read the quote from Albert Einstein, and he's talking about the same thing. And it's like, how did my grandmother? Like I'm telling you, I'm envision deep countryside. The only way you get to her house is by either physically hiking,
Mm-hmm.
or you can't even, like, you could take horses, but the horses are going to take a beating. What you really want to take is either a mule or a donkey
Okay.
that is tough, is low
Right.
center of gravity, and it's just a
Right.
tough animal.
Right. In the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Till this day, you no till actually, because my mother just recently moved to the family farm.
Okay.
Till just recently, probably 5 years, the only way you could still get to the house was the only other way was like with a 4x4 vehicle. Now you can actually take a car that's not 4x4 and make
Okay.
it there. You
But
know?
you might need, yeah,
Yeah.
because the weird thing is my grandmother also could not read or write. Also
Hmm.
signed her name with an X. Was also from the boons of Turkey,
Yeah.
and was forcibly removed from her village
Yeah.
by the Turks. But the thing is she could not have been smarter. And
Hmm.
you think about and it wasn't wasted. I was just about to say, the waste of the not educating everybody. You're
Hmm.
missing out on geniuses,
Hmm.
except for and I still think that that's true. Except for that, my grandmother and your grandmother, it wasn't wasted. It
It
was passed
wasn't.
on to us.
Yes.
And
The only thing that I do regret, I did walk with her um, in her last days. I was really connected to her, and I had a mini DV camera, and I filmed her. I still haven't even emotionally, I haven't been able to bring myself to even digitize it,
oof, yeah,
and hopefully my family members won't listen to this, because then they'll be like, you have all that footage on grandma where she walked me through the house at the age of 89 years old.
yeah.
She passed away right before it was her 90th birthday. And awesome, the way I want to go. Just laid down, fell asleep, didn't wake up.
Oh, that's
No
yeah.
drama.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
and she walked me all through the house and showed me where all her kids were born. Like, here's, like, my mom was born in the kitchen, where the kitchen is now, and she was like,
Oh, because
your
she was a
mom, my
midwife, and so it was all home births because
yes,
she's also in the country.
yes.
Yes.
And
Wow.
then and then to even register the kid, it's so funny because we just had this discussion. My mom's birthday is August 10th, legally, but my mom was actually born May 13th. But that's how long it took them after she got born to go and register her.
To go right. Wow. That's hilarious. You
We're
can't
on a
just say
journey now.
this
I
is
love you, Jackie. I got love for you.
This is you're like, do you see this baby? It's clearly not 2 days old. It took us several months to get here.
Yes, yes.
And they're like, still born on August 10th.
We were buying my mother a plane ticket because she's actually going to fly back from Dominican Republic to Florida. And my brother's buying her the plane ticket. He's like, when's mom's birthday again? My oldest brother. And then I said, May 13th. And then he goes, yeah, that's right, May 13th. And then I go, hold up. And then I have a file with all my mom's information. And then I go, nah, legally on her driver's license and on her passport is August 10th.
Right. Because you got to go with whatever the paperwork has chosen to go with. Well, this is fascinating.
It's great home living. I love it. I love visiting there. Not as much now after my grandma passed, but I do have that footage. It's a nice country house that reminds me of everything I see on HGTV on Fixer Upper.
Look at the segue. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it with Orlando Leyba. And it is at Hey Lando on Twitter and Instagram and all the things. And I will say all the things 1,000 times now. But and the name of his album and special is Adorable. And it's on HBO Max and it's on Spotify and Pandora and all that. So, beautiful. But HGTV is home and garden television.
Yeah. Home and garden television.
Okay. So what program is it all? Is it, I feel like some of the stuff has been hijacked by like The Bachelor. Has home and garden TV been hijacked by reality television?
No, it hasn't. They've actually stuck to their original plan, and it's all about home improvement shows, real estate shows, and everything. Okay. They have it's a very educational. If you're into home and garden, it's very educational. It all depends about you finding the show that educates you. So there's shows that are just about real estate and how to flip a house and basically, put up some drywall and then get more money out of the house that you just bought at an auction.
Oh, okay.
And then there's shows about that you won the lottery and now you get to buy your dream home. That show I also like it too. It's called for lottery winners because you see the people who don't really understand money that way, and then you see the people that do understand money where they're like, you won $5 million. What are you gonna buy? A $5 million house? And they're like, nah, I'm buying a 4.5 million. I'm trying to save like 500,000. Yeah. And then you find someone that won 10 million, and they're like, you won 10 million. What house are you buying? And I remember this girl vividly. She was like, yeah, my budget is $250,000.
Oh, there you go. I
loved her. Like when I saw that episode, I was like, you get it. You get it. Figured it out. Yes, yeah. I get real excited when I see people that get it. And it's like, Jesus, man.
Just think it through.
Think it through. Take a beat, brother.
Yeah, take a beat. Exactly. Because you are going to need to pay property taxes on that thing, right?
And maybe you don't, if you play your cards right, you don't need to go back to work. That story was great. I don't know that much about the show.
Right.
But I know it's about people that win the lottery and buy their homes. And this young lady moved in with her parents so she could save. So she had a job, had an apartment, and she took a beat and said, let me move back home so I can save up the down payment of the house. This is a great story, Jackie. And what she did was there was a local convenience store close to her house. The lottery has scratch-offs.
Right.
The scratch-offs, when they lose, certain scratch-offs have a second option to win.
Okay.
Meaning you grab the lottery ticket that didn't win and you register it on a website online. And then they hold another lottery just with the serial number of that lottery ticket. This woman would go on walks every day and collect all the discarded.
And register them all?
and registered them all within 6 months. Bomb. She won. She actually won $5 million,
Wow.
and she bought a house for
And helped
$250,000
with litter. That's right.
and helped with litter.
Was picking up some litter and then
Oh, man.
registering it and won $5 million while she was living at home, hoping to save up to buy a house.
You know, I showed that episode to my wife, Vanessa Lozano, and she got so gassed. And she was like, "I'm about this life," and it lasted about a month.
Okay.
But also, like, our nearest convenience store is 7-Eleven, and but there's some weird characters that hang out around.
Right. There's the Los Angeles is full of people who, it's
you don't know who's who. You don't know
who's who. Maria Bamford does she used to, I don't think she ever put it on any of the albums, but it was such a great bit about how she was going to get a rescue, and it was a guy that lived in front of the 7-Eleven. And he was a little bit sketch, he was a little, he looked like he might bite, but she thought if she was really nice to him, he could be tamed. And I was like, please do that joke. And she's like, it's actually way too dark and everyone gets sad when I do it. Yeah. And I was like,
I have a rescue joke also, but my rescue joke is that my wife rescued me. Like, I'm the rescue.
You're the rescue. Yeah.
I'm the rescue. And she took me home and she brushed my hair. And she had air conditioning, food in the refrigerator, and the NFL channel. And that's the condensed version on how I got domesticated.
That's
I'm not a wild stallion anymore. I'm just a house cat with no claws.
Meow. I love it. I'm in favor of it. So what is the show on HGTV that you do that is your favorite?
My favorite show is a show called Fixer Upper. It's still airing on reruns, but the actual show itself, there are no new episodes.
Okay.
Okay. The show is hosted by is Chip and Joanna Gang.
A couple. Okay.
Yes, they're a couple. They have kids. I don't know their kid's name because I'm not a stalker. And my friend actually did that. My friend Michael Yo was telling me a story. He's very live on social media. He's always putting up video and everything. And he said he was walking down the street and a total stranger, a woman, walked up to his toddler son and goes, "Oliver, oh my God, look at you, buddy." And then she looked up and she goes, "Oh, Michael Yo." And then he goes, "Excuse me, do you know me?" And she goes, "No, I don't. This is gonna sound weird. I don't really know you, but I know your kid from
social media.
Yeah, and his outfits and his hair, how curly his hair is, and everything."
Wow.
And that made him take a step back, like, "Hey, oh yeah, nice to meet," and put his kid behind him. "Oh man, I'm so glad you're a fan. All right, see you at a comedy show."
I will say, having a podcast, The Dork Forest has been going for, I think, 15 years, 14 years. And I did not know that I had a Wikipedia page until one of my brothers were like, "You have a Wikipedia page and my name's on it." And I was like, "What's happening?" And so I look, and it's got a lot of like my stepmother's name, all of my siblings. Wow. I was like, someone has been listening and taking notes.
Yes.
And I mean, there's not.
Have you reached out? Have you ever said, "Hey, whoever runs my Wikipedia page, can you give me a call? Let's get some of the stuff more accurate."
It's actually pretty accurate, and I think whatever. I think the inaccuracies. Someone, I think Jeff Garland said that his brother went in and changed his Wikipedia page to say Jeff Garland caught the comedy bug. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's kind of funny if someone put on your Wikipedia page something silly like, drives a 2013 Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
And
only likes M&M's upside down because he likes W's. He's a winner.
He's a winner. And they're all blue.
Yeah.
So Fixer Upper with Chip and Joanna is... How many seasons are there? How many episodes are there? Any idea? Are there hundreds?
No, not hundreds. Close to hundreds. The pilot episode was in May of 2013.
Okay.
just a pilot episode, and then the season officially kicked off in April of 2014. It's pretty interesting because um, the show itself was the first show that I enjoyed that kind of like had that Extreme Home Makeover feel. By then, Extreme Home Makeover had gone off the air, which was all about just doing good and
Oh,
helping out.
okay.
So, Fixer Upper is more of a show of I'm gonna help Jackie move to Waco, Texas, where you could basically at the time you could buy a house for like $5. No one's
Right.
living in Waco,
Right.
Texas, and I'm gonna help her achieve in a really affordable way her dream home. So
Okay.
it's these beautiful farmhouses and whatnot,
Yeah.
and you get acres and you get a lake. I remember one guy bought a house and it was like 300,000, and it had a private lake that he can fish. It was
Wow.
like a huge lake
Yeah.
on his property
Just a
just for him.
freshwater lake in the middle of his property.
And I was just like, oh my God, I fell in love with this show because of that, because it was all about helping people. And there's never the reality show aspect of it of, oh, the plumbing is all bad. We really can't afford it. We're gonna have to cut corners. Those moments never exist. It's always the show's always moving forward, and it's about that positive energy and that instant gratification of, oh, we've discovered great hardwood floors. We can sand these down and restain them, and then we save money here. Everything of the show was positive. Their vibe is
That's
very positive. You get the feeling that they're religious, but they don't hit
right.
you over the head with it.
Right. They're literally they have clearly taken to heart the idea that you should give back in their religion, if
Yes.
they are religious, and
Yes.
and yet they don't need to let you in on it. They're just a living example. That's my favorite kind of reality show.
I love it. I love it. It's like, and at the same time, the emotional attachment to it. Hey, because I had to go, I'm so passionate about it that I ended up, when I did my first Tonight Show, I talked about it. I talked about HGTV.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to look it up, just type in Orlando Leyba Tonight Show. I'm
Okay.
wearing a yellow jacket, and
Do you still
Jimmy
have that jacket?
Yeah, I still have it.
Thank
My
God.
wife made me put it away. She was just like, I went to wear it again, and she was like, "You can't. We're gonna auction it one day." And then I go, "I love your vision, babe. I love that you believe in me so much that you think I'm gonna get to a place where I get to auction off a jacket
That
to
is
help
enormously
charity."
supportive. The people in
Yes.
our lives. I love
Yes.
that.
So I talked about it, and I had to go in this like I'm very self-aware and and I love to self-analyze. And then I was like, what is it about this show? Two things. The first thing about HGTV Fixer Upper is it started in 2013 was when I saw the first episode. It didn't really get going till 2014. Um, and I love the instant gratification where if you're having a bad day, you could sit down, watch that show, and again, the kitchen looks like a mess.
Yeah.
30 minutes into a show, brand new kitchen, and you're like, wow, that kitchen looks amazing.
Is it a
And
30-minute show? How long is that
no,
show?
I say every episode is 1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah, but 30 minutes in,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
already starting
But you're
to
already
get saving the cat. You're getting the
Yes.
positive
That's-
influence.
I need those. I genuinely need those positive vibes. That's why I
Yeah.
like the first 5 seasons of British Bake Off the best.
Okay.
Anyway,
I've
but
never gotten into that show, and I think we've all during this pandemic. I think we've watched everything.
right.
But we just finished The Crown and Bridgerton. I think it is
Aw, Bridgerton, adorable.
Bridgerton. Yeah,
And Shonda Rhimes really nailing the romance novel vibe. Well played. And I've read those books.
yes,
Spoiler alert, Anthony in the next series, I assume she'll be doing a next series with Anthony. He is terrified of bees. Anyway, let's
Yeah.
continue with the good news with the kitchen in the Fixer Upper.
yeah. So that's the first aspect of why I love the show. 30 minutes, instant gratification. Wow, the kitchen looks great. The bathroom looks great. The floors look great. Then Joanne comes in with her design and decorations and starts to go, oh man, that house, their decor falls under like farmer chic,
Okay.
but everything is very light and airy, and
Oh,
I
good.
love it. I love it. Me personally, I love it. So we already established, I love how much the houses cost. I love that you can fix them up and get that instant gratification. The positive of the show,
Hmm.
and then Joanna, her design, and then Chip, her husband, is a silly, don't take it the wrong way, people. I'm just saying, a very silly white guy that
Okay.
makes me giggle. Like this dude makes me giggle. Like my wife goes to me, "Why do you giggle so much?" And then I go, "Because he's a grown child." And
Right.
I am a grown child. I do stand up, and I get his sense of humor. Except for like season 2, he almost killed her because he forgot to put the Jeep in park, and there was a
Oh,
stick shift,
hell.
and
Are
he
you-
forgot to pull the emergency, and he jumps out of the Jeep, and the Jeep keeps rolling, and then he has to jump back in the
Oh.
Jeep, and Joanna, his wife, has to jump out of the way, and you knew it was true because his eyes were they just looked like an old school Volkswagen Beetle.
You
Like,
know,
oh man, that could have been rough there. That would have been. I
I
was
have
like,
to say that my favorite men in the whole world, and this is my husband,
mm-hmm.
is an adult, responsible adult man,
Yes,
a
yes,
grown up person
mm-hmm.
who is also very silly,
Yes,
who has a sense of silliness and a sense of
yeah,
absurdity. And you're just like, oh, yeah, that's who I love. That's that
yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah. My wife hits me up all the time. My wife Vanessa is like, man, you're so lucky you like doing dishes and washing clothes and ironing. Because these are the things I do to relax, actually. But again,
oh,
instant gratification. You put in a dirty load of clothes, you wash it. Now the clothes are clean.
you
And then
do
if
have an
you,
instant sense of gratification.
yeah, and then you fold it. If you're stepping, you don't leave it in the dryer. Get it
Nope.
out, fold it right away,
Put it
and
away.
then you step up, which is something that I've lagged, and I'm bringing it back. I need to bring it back. I used to be real heavy into ironing my clothes. I had my own starches. I would
Oh,
make it, snatch
interesting.
it with lavender smell. And about honestly, when I moved to Los Angeles 8 years ago, was when I stopped. So yeah,
You stopped ironing all your clothes about 8
yeah,
years ago.
because no one here irons their clothes. They just
No
let
one
their
does.
body heat. They let their body heat, and I kind of felt
Get the
strange.
wrinkles out. I
Yeah.
have to say that 2 days ago, I got a sense of it. I was a little grumpy. I was grumpy. I was a little in the dumps, and I was
Hmm.
like, "Why don't you do something that you can accomplish?" And so I stripped the bed. I cleaned the
Yeah.
bathroom. I organized the kitchen a little bit.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I had done something. I had
Yes.
fresh sheets.
Yeah.
The bathroom was clean.
Yeah.
It felt better it's
I
just,
did that. Man, me and you. I
we're
did
kind of
that
the
to
same
my
person.
yeah. I did that to my bedroom. Like I'm talking about a couple of days ago. Like
Yeah.
completely stripped the bed, completely got everything out. Vacuumed under the bed. There was a few dust bunnies there, and it was kind of like I needed the energy vibe to change in
Right.
the
There's
bedroom
so
because
much
I
dust
was
in Los Angeles too.
yeah,
So,
and that yes, I live close to a place called Griffin Park, so the dust from that what is it, a hill, a mountain, whatever it is, if you
right.
leave your windows open, the wings actually drop that dust inside your house. And I hadn't slept for a couple of nights, and I just in my head it just clicked, like you said, I was feeling kind of weird. I was feeling
Yeah.
a little bit down. I hadn't slept for a couple of nights,
That'll do it.
and then I did that, and that was it. That night I slept like a baby.
That's it. It's just it's part of the self-care. What I think of it as is part of the self-care that is appreciated by our
Hmm.
partners.
There
Because
you
my
go.
husband was like, "Hey, the bathroom's clean." And he said,
Yeah.
I've been meaning to clean the bathroom for about a week." And I was like, "Yeah, it's you can clean the kitchen if you want." I mean, I was just like, "You can
Yeah.
clean something else."
But I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I think I should look more into that because I'm all about jumping into the dishes also.
Yeah.
not dropping, not name dropping, but like um Patton Oswalt, I'm on tour with him.
Let me
And
pick this up for you. You drop this. I'm just
yeah.
kidding. Anyway.
So I'm on tour with the great Patton Oswalt, comedian. And
Upcoming or pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID, before
pre-COVID.
COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're on tour. This is, I think, 2019, early 2019 or 2018. I just remember. But he, his wife, Margaret, she packed a thing. We're staying in different hotel rooms or everything. So he's trying to keep this shirt that's obviously already wrinkled, like from getting more wrinkled. And then I go to him, and it looks so weird. He talked about it on stage. We were in Denver, and at the front desk, we have this relationship, by the way. I go, Patton, I can't, bro. He goes, what? I go, I need to iron your shirt.
Yeah.
And he goes, what? And then I need to. It's gonna be with me. I'm gonna open for you. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be a good open. And he just hands me the thing. And then Patton goes, I felt so weird because he's like asking me, and it's all these people, but I was so intense about it that he was like, I have no choice. I have to give him this shirt to iron.
Right.
Goes, all right, here. And he hands me the shirt, and I take the shirt. And dude, I iron my clothes for the shows. When I'm gonna do a show, I gotta iron.
Yeah.
It's part of my process. And
I would love to work
shirt.
with you on the road. I have no interest in ironing anything. Anyway.
And then he talked about it on stage with also. But then he also opens up and he goes, I have the same issue with washing dishes.
Oh, okay.
Where in his house, he's like, I can't, like, no. The way people load the dishwasher or wash dishes to him, if you're not doing it the way he does it.
Oh, interesting.
Is yeah.
When I was
is washing dishes.
When I was a child, my stepmother had a lot of sayings, and one of them was wash, wipe, and put away. Live to eat another day. Yeah. And so it was, you could not leave, we would all sit down for a meal and we had it all scheduled out. Someone would, there's 6 kids. Yeah. So, and she came in and she was a great loss to the Austrian army. But, so she's got us all scheduled to do these things, and someone washed and someone dried, and the person who washed had to sweep the floor, and the person who dried had to wipe everything down. Yes. And, but so that was all scheduled, the meals and the dishes. But if you had a snack or anything in between meals, you could not put the dish in the sink. You had to wash it and then wipe it and then put it away in the moment. So I live with my husband, Andy, who will sometimes, he's okay with, he'll leave dishes a little bit. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do mine, so I'll just do them all. And sometimes I was thinking about this the other day, is that I get mad about it a little bit. And then I thought,
understandable.
You didn't marry him for his dishwashing abilities. You married him because he's a great guy. Yes. And he's very smart, very funny, very good person. These are the reasons. It wasn't because I was hoping that he'd do more than just his bowl. Like roommates.
It's so funny. Like, you can come from different places in life and still have the same issues. And this is what I try to do with my stand-up, where it's like, guys, like, we're not so different, man. We're really not so different, because I have the same issue. Like, I wash dishes. Yeah. I don't like to put them away. I don't like. So I have this very elaborate rack. Yes. I also, for some reason, I know the reason is my mom, don't trust the dishwasher. The dishwasher in my family, growing up, the dishwasher in every apartment that we lived in was extra storage space. That's what the dishwasher was.
That's it.
That was extra storage space. I don't trust it. It doesn't wash right.
Yeah, they don't feel clean. And the thing is so I'll wash and wipe and put a dish away. If I pull it out and it's not clean, I know exactly who did that. who
Yeah.
was half-assed
Yeah.
and did not clean it correctly. It was this
Yes.
one right here.
Yeah.
And if it would have been a machine that did it, I would be infuriated. I'd been like, it's supposed to do the thing.
When we do buy a house, I'm gonna break that habit. My good friend Forrest Shaw, he recently, comedian also, he just recently bought his house. He has a very, because we used to be roommates, and we'll get back to HGTV, how I ended up
Yes.
being roommates with Forrest Shaw. But is his dishwasher, he hated the fact that basically the dishwasher in the townhouse that we both shared, we shared this 2-bedroom townhouse. I never would put the dishes in the dishwasher. He hated that. He was like, "Dude, that's what the dish." I go, "It's never clean." That was always my point. It's never clean. It's never gonna be right and everything. And he
It
goes,
should just be cabinet space.
"Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "That's the old washing. These new machines actually do a great job." So now at his new house, he has this fantastic dishwasher. He proved me wrong. He pulled out a dish and he's like, "Look, man, the dish came out. There was smoke coming from it because it
Right.
used hot water." That alone sold me. There's smoke coming off this plate.
It's been disinfected. It's been,
I
boiled.
love it. So when we do buy a house, my wife and I will try to make the change.
You'll try again. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have a question
So-
about Chip, by the way.
Go ahead.
So if Joanne or Joanna
Yes.
does all the decorating, does Chip, is he a handyman kind of guy? What's his?
Well, their business is called, I think it's called Magnolia Homes.
Okay.
So the background on this family is Chip has always worked in construction, I believe, and then he also opened a real estate uh, part of Magnolia.
Okay.
He had another business. He's a weird, intense, funny dude. Because one of the stories about them, one of the personal stories, is that Chip wanted to learn Spanish so he could understand his workers better.
Good.
Because it's mostly Spanish people that he would hire to do construction. So he wanted to go to Mexico for a month. And
for
learn Spanish.
immersion? Yeah. Okay.
So, and he feels like when they told that story, or him and Joanna, I was just like, yeah, that sounds about right. But the thing was that they had just met. They had just started dating. And Joanna had some type of business skills.
Okay.
So he was like literally probably like a week, 2 weeks into dating. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to go to Mexico to learn Spanish for a month. Can you run my business while I'm gone?"
Oh, wow.
And that's like the initial.
That's how they
beginning.
got together, essentially.
Yes. No, but they were dating. Like he was courting her. But part of his courtship was like, "I trust you so much. Hey, man." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, Chip is missing a couple. I like him even more now."
Right. It's the kind of thing where you're just like, oh, and I bet you Chip was also like, and I would have children with this person.
Yes.
And obviously I'm going to marry this person.
And
so I'm
then
just
you
going to
find
leave
out
my
stuff-
business.
Yes, and then you find out of their intensity. Like he's won like the award in Waco, Texas, like Man of the Year, because his construction company, their construction company, Magnolia Homes, this is even before the TV show, before any other fame or anything, before any thought of a TV show. Throughout years, he had won Man of the Year just because one of the things that he specialized with his company is he'll find an older couple that just doesn't have the money there to remodel their house and make it more efficient for them. Maybe now the husband or the wife is handicapped or whatnot.
Right.
And he would go inside their house and remodel it, charge them nothing with leftover materials from his construction site, and just remodel someone's home that really needs help. Like, let's get these doors wider.
Yeah.
They have stairs. Let's install that thing that takes them up to the bedroom,
Right.
whatever it was.
That's
remodel them.
awesome.
Yeah.
I need to see this show because that sounds just sweet and positive and kind of interesting too. Because if they're fixing
fast
stuff,
forward, they make a at the top of their game, Jackie, with Fixer Up. But at the very top of their game, is I know these things because I was also the timeline. So I go to the Tonight Show. I do my bit about HGTV and Fixer Upper and Chip and how much I love him and everything. Fast forward 2 weeks later, Chip and Joanna Gaines are on the Tonight Show because Joanna's promoting her book. Chip is in the hallway repeating my joke back to Jimmy Fallon. One of the producers from the show calls me. He doesn't call me, texts me. And he was just like, Jimmy told me to let you know this.
Right. Chip knows your name. Chip knows your name.
And Chip was verbatim repeating your bit to me about him and Joanna. And that was great. But through that episode of The Tonight Show, you find out that at the top of their game in 2018, they say, you know, this is getting to be a little bit too much, the fame part of it. So let's step back. And they step back. There's no deal on the book. The contract came. There was no negotiation. Hey, they're about how we say, they're about to the truck is about to back up to their house. The dump truck of money is about to get dumped in their front yard. And they're like, no, don't bother.
We're going to diminish and go to the West. We're just going to pull back and just have our lives back.
Yes, and they did that. Joanna wrote a book, and then they raised their kids a little bit more till they got a little bit older. Fast forward, maybe it was a strategy. I'm going to choose that it wasn't a strategy. Discovery Channel buys HGTV.
Okay.
And Discovery Channel comes to them with, hey, we don't want you on HGTV anymore. We want to give you something called the Magnolia Network. We want to give you your own network that you will program. You would decide what shows are on this network and everything. And they'll fly under the Discovery Channel banner, you know? But it'll be its own channel on your cable.
Did it work?
Right now, I think because of the pandemic, it slowed down. Joanna's back out there now on the Magnolia Network. I haven't seen the actual network, but it gets promoted as the Magnolia. Actually, what they're doing is running promos, where the first thing that she's doing is showing how she cooks family meals for Chip and the girls and the boys. Yeah.
So what was the name of her book? What was the book about? Was it about interior design? Was it, or just about her life?
I think it was about interior design and life, and I don't remember. I didn't get it. Sometimes you feel like, I might be is this getting weird? Am I becoming a stalker?
Is it a little too intense?
Yeah, but like one of my happiest, truly one of the things I would want to achieve is like, not that they build a home for me, but that I can help them build a home for somebody else. Like, hey, Orlando, just come in. You can't do anything so just come in for the demo. You can come and break. I'll be like, all right, I can break stuff.
Sort of Habitat for Humanity kind of situation, but like one-off.
Yes.
Like they're just like, we have these skills.
Yes.
And then we can do this. And then they turned it into a TV show, and then it became slightly overwhelming. Yeah. They're like, but they're still in business, and they still have the Magnolia.
Yeah, no, they're still basically
they still have jobs.
They still have they really, the TV aspect of it, they don't need it.
Yeah.
They're already a brand. They're in Target. You go to Target, you see their furnishings, you see their things. So
Fixer Upper.
Yeah. And if you go to Target, just look for like Magnolia.
Oh, okay.
And you'll see.
It's under that.
Furnishing, which is like, hey, you can have the stuff that you're seeing, how I decorate the houses on the show, and it's not gonna set you in debt, because there isn't a reason why a couch should cost $20,000. I don't get that.
No, we just got our first brand new couch about a year or so ago, and the only thing I'll say about it was it wasn't that it was. I never knew I wanted a couch and a sofa or a love seat to match until we got a couch and a love seat that matched at the Salvation Army. And I was like, oh yeah, this brings the room together. Yeah. And,
this makes sense.
It totally makes sense. And
decoration magazines aren't full of BS.
Right, they're not it. And then there's and so we have the couch, the love seat that match, and then a chair that complements.
Yes.
You know. And so the only thing
I'm
else
looking forward to, man. I am so looking forward to, Jackie, after this pandemic, to getting a new couch. I am so looking forward.
Well, here's what I would recommend. Make sure the couch is deep enough for naps.
Yes.
Ours is slightly too shallow. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yes.
I think I just like the color.
Yeah, you probably got the average. You probably got, what did you get? Probably 30, 36-inch depth.
You guys, I'm talking with Orlando Leyba, who's watched a lot of HGTV and just knows the inch depth that your couch should be.
Yeah,
so
you got the standard. I want something deeper, and probably like around 119 inches wide.
Okay.
And the depth, I need at least like 36 minimum.
Okay.
Or into the 40s. Ours is just worn down. It's just worn down.
It's just older. As they get older, you're just like, this.
I still vacuum it. I vacuum it, and I'm constantly flipping the cushions. So when you look at it, it looks like, oh, that's a nice, healthy couch. But like once you get into it, is when we moved from Florida, jumping back into HGTV. So we had a great couch. Like people used to come to our house and just, they'll be talking to us, they'll come and visit, and then they would just fall asleep. And we ended up like donating that couch when we decided to move to Florida, from Florida to Los Angeles. Here's the thing, HGTV, I'm watching it, Fixer Upper debuts. I get into that show. My wife is watching the show with me. Around the same time, I make the decision to cash in my 401k. My wife and I, we make a decision. I work for CBS News as a satellite engineer.
Okay.
To cash in my 401k and move to Los Angeles to follow the dream, right?
Well, you got to give it a shot.
We got to give it a shot. My supportive wife, we have no kids. My very supportive wife goes, 100%, let's do it because I need you to be happy.
That's awesome.
And then we do it, but we do it in a way that hindsight 2020, I probably wouldn't do it again the same way, but it's whatever the universe and the journey that I needed to embark on. Where she stayed in Miami, Florida, in our home with our front yard, backyard, and our dogs.
Okay.
And I moved to Los Angeles, California, right to Hollywood, right by the Celebrity Center owned by Scientologists. So they were always hitting me up to come over to a studio apartment in a building full of people. So multiple units, building full of
Crowds.
people. You smell everybody's cooking. I'm by myself. And one of the few things that I have is my Apple TV, those first generation Apple TVs. I also have a Sling box from back in the day, which is you could sling through an app, you could sling your home TV and cable to wherever you are, either to your iPhone, or if you had something like the Apple TV, I could actually throw the video from my iPhone to the Apple TV and watch it on the screen. And my iPad. So one of the things to help me stay connected home, other than obviously speaking to my wife, is that I would watch the local news from my hometown in Miami, Florida. And I would also watch HGTV, and I would watch Fixer Upper. And my wife and I together would watch at the same time, because I was which is basically slinging the signal from our guest bedroom cable box. Right. We would watch Game of Thrones together also. So we would sit there, watch Game of Thrones. And it was I was using a lot of internet speed here because I have
Orlando, and you're a tech guy. I mean, you're like a satellite TV nerd dude. So it's not like you're like, no, I think we can do this. And so you could watch TV with your wife. Just you guys would be on the phone?
No, I would put her on my iPad mini FaceTime.
Okay.
So we're doing FaceTime.
Yep.
And I'm looking at her, she's looking at me. And then on my phone, I would grab and put HBO, I'll sling the HBO signal to my phone and throw it to the TV. And then we would, like 1, 2, 3, start Game of Thrones. And we would
Okay.
start Game of Thrones at the same time. There was always like a little bit of a
The
delay.
tiny leg.
A tiny, but very, very tiny
Yeah.
on the delay. And I just have these vivid memories of her and I. Something crazy will happen, and we would just look at each other. She would look at me from the iPad. I would look at the iPad and then look at the TV. And it was the same reaction we would have at home. So that helped me out a lot. But HGTV and Fixer Upper, that kept the homesickness that I was feeling and the sadness under control to a certain degree. It kind of like pushed it down. Oh, there's moments throughout the day where I could feel like I'm still in my very comfy couch
Right.
at home.
That's the best jerry rigging ever. Where and that's what we're all doing now.
Yes.
And I have to tell you that I am sorry to tell you that it's been an hour.
Yes.
Of course it has. But Rangers. By the way, I'm talking with Orlando Leyba. That's a Leyba, and his handle is at Heylando, Heylando. And the name of his video and album is Adorable. It's available everywhere you would watch and listen to such things, including HBO Max and then Spotify, Pandora, and all the things.
Yes.
So thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you, Jackie. You've taken me on a journey that I wasn't expecting on going on.
Super fun. And
we talked about my grandma. We talked about we talked about HGTV.
Your couch.
We talked about the couch. Oh my God.
Your prejudice against the dishwashing situation.
Yeah.
Also with myself, but willing to learn. I love that you're open.
I'm still open, man. We all got to be open.
We got to be open-minded. They could make the dishwasher that finally works.
Yes.
All right. So thank you so much for doing the show. Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
Yes. And remember, I want to leave everybody with these words because I have an insight.
Okay.
So I'm giving you an insight. I used to work for the news.
Yes.
And in the news, there's a common saying, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
Meaning, whatever's dramatic, it's not fake, it really happened. But the news will always concentrate on promoting what is loud and what is obnoxious and what is
traumatic
and traumatic. Yeah. They deal in trauma. They are trauma dealers. If you want trauma and drama, you will get it from the news. There's a lot more nice people. I've had the wonderful opportunity to travel this country, and there's a lot more nice people than there are bad people. The bad people are there. It's the way that life is. But if you take a beat and look around, there's always someone doing nice.
You heard it here, you guys. Take care.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?